Gavin Lux trade rumors. Will the Dodgers trade Lux this offseason? We have more details on Hyeseong Kim's contract with the Dodgers and what his role will be. Also, an update on Roki Sasaki. All that more coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger Baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You guys ready to parade? We got a parade! The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Tony starts the 50-50 clock. Monkey magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, presented by dodgersnation.com, the #1 Dodgers show and podcast on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Now, if you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. New year, your New Year's resolution should be to watch every single episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, every episode of the post-game show, all the content that we put out. Definitely join the party. Over 112,000 subscribers. We appreciate you guys. Going to be a big year here at Dodgers Nation. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button for your boy as well. By the way, when you are subscribed, you're eligible for all of our giveaways. We're going to start doing giveaways pretty soon once again. By the way, you know, every episode of Dodgers Dugout Live starts with the Dodgers Dugout Live poll question of the show. And I asked you guys over on the X, do you think the Dodgers will trade Gavin Lux this offseason? And right now, 40% say no and 60% say yes. So most Dodgers fans right now are buying into some of these rumors that have teams interested in Gavin Lux, and we're going to get into that. But first, yeah, any comments, guys, fire away. Any question for the 7th inning stretch, drop those down below. Any comments about what we're talking about, if you want to be featured on the show, drop those down below. We've got Tony Taters. Antonio, he, of course, is looking for all your comments. And Antonio is celebrating a championship. His softball team won, and he went 3 for 4 in the championship game, had the game-winning single. So, hey, Freddie Freeman, walkout grand slam in the World Series, top that Antonio kind of did, right?
Oh, yeah, it was such a real trip. I actually got the clip if you guys want to see it.
Run the clip. Run the clip. Let's see this. Here we go. Ready for this? Antonio singles to left. What's your team's name?
We're the Brewers. It's actually
You're the Brewers.
Yeah, it's like literally.
You are Tony Tallboy, so it makes sense you're on a team called the Brewers.
Cerveceros. No, it was a great.
Cerveceros.
It was a crazy game. Shout out to my boy Read the Cheese for that clip. Follow him at Dinger Daddies. That's their YouTube channel. Weird YouTube channel. We like each other. But yeah, he recorded that. It was a 26-27, bro. And they actually walked the guy before me to get to me, and we know how that works out. Actually, they had first base open. They were setting for the double play. But in my head, I was like, oh, they walked him. But it was a great time, and I'm just glad to start the new year as a champion. They even gave us these cool little rings. Check it out. Oh,
look at that ring. Look at that ice. And, of course, you've got Noise by Noel, Young Lotto, Mr. Noel Sanchez. He runs Dodgers Nation Instagram, the social media account, so he'll be looking for all of your fire takes as well. But, of course, every episode of Dodgers Dugout Live starts with the leadoff.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
So the hottest story right now in Dodger baseball is about Gavin Lux, because you have numerous insiders that have reported that teams have been inquiring about trading for the Dodgers' second baseman. This first tweet comes from John Morosi, and John Morosi tweeted out, the Mariners have checked with the Dodgers about the availability of Gavin Lux. As we discussed on MLB Network this morning, the Dodgers have 6 middle infielders on their 40-man roster: Edman, Betts, Lux, Kim, Taylor, and Rojas. So first response to that is, I mean, you could also make the case that some of those guys are outfielders too. There's versatility with guys like Edman and Betts and even Kim and Taylor, guys like that. So, yeah, I don't think that is the major reason why they would consider trading for Gavin Lux, but it's another guy, friend of the show, good friend John Morosi, and he's saying that teams are interested. Teams are reaching out to the Dodgers for Gavin Lux and information about his availability. We know that teams, hey, you're not going to inquire about a player that you think is not even going to be considered traded, right? I mean, they're not going to hit him up for Shohei Ohtani and guys like that. So clearly there is some smoke out there when it comes to Gavin Lux being available. We heard a couple weeks ago that the Dodgers were close. At the very least, they were in the red zone on potentially acquiring Devin Williams before he ultimately was traded to the New York Yankees. And Gavin Lux is someone who was rumored to be included in those trade talks. People I've spoke to as well say that that was something that they were exploring. So there is smoke there. And then Jeff Passan, he put out this morning on ESPN, Jeff Passan, he wrote about the possibility of trading for Gavin Lux and his availability. Jeff Passan wrote that the Yankees are unquestionably a deeper team, and they're not done. They've continued to discuss Luis Arraez with San Diego and inquired about Gavin Lux, whom the Dodgers could trade to fill their open second base slot. When the contract demands for relief pitching drop, the Yankees could dabble there too. So, there is smoke. There is smoke. And this is not from random hashtag trust me bro sources, right? This is not from the Ken Rosen thoughts or Buster Phonies or Jet Passons, all those troll accounts that try to get you to believe something, but when you know it's fugazi, it's not real. These are some of the premier reporters in the game and the most premier reporter in the game in Jeff Passan. Now, none of them have said that the Dodgers are making him available. The Dodgers are trying hard to trade him, but as a fun exercise, let's kind of look at kind of on a deeper level why they would look to trade Gavin Lux. Well, Gavin Lux is under 2 more years of team control. He's coming off a season where he was returning from a severe leg injury, right? Tore his ACL, hurt his hamstring, was set to be the Dodgers opening day shortstop in 2023. Then he misses the entire season, comes back in 2024, comes out really slow out of the gates. By the end of April, he was hitting under 200. His on base was at 241. He was slugging just 208. He didn't hit his first home run of the season until he went deep on George Soriano on May 7th against the Marlins. It was actually his first deep fly in 631 days, first home run since August 15th, 2022. And then that month, you started to see some more power, some more extra base hits. He had 3 doubles, 2 triples. Was pretty okay in May. The OPS went from 462 to 560, which is still well below league average, but you start to see some signs. You start to see harder contact, better at-bats, and then through the All-Star break, something clicked with Gavin Lux, and that is that he met with his uncle Augie back in Milwaukee, back in Wisconsin, back in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He's been a baseball coach for a long, long time, and they broke down film. They looked at old videos of his swings when he was at the minor league level, some of his swings, the big league level, and they looked at and pinpointed his best swings. And his best swings were when he was aggressive early in counts, when he had that approach that he was going to take advantage of pitches early in the count that he could do damage to instead of laying off of pitches, trying to work the count. It was, you know what, we're not going to go up there and try to draw walks. We're going to go up there and we're going to try to make something happen with the stick. They looked at his good swings, and they looked at the fact that when the intention was to swing harder, he was better. You swing harder, you had better results. And that's what he brought into the second half of the season. It was a more aggressive approach. It was a harder swing. And in the Dodgers' first series of the second half against the Boston Red Sox, he didn't get a hit in their first game, but the second game, he hits a solo home run off of Brian Bello on the Red Sox. And then later, he hits a double. It was the first time that he had a multiple a multi-extra base hit game since 2021. It was the first time he had 2 extra base hits in the same game since 2021. And then he went on a tear. The second half of the season, the final 61 games of the year, Gavin Lux had a 304 batting average, a 391 on base. He slugged .508. He had 7 homers. He had 26 RBIs, 16 doubles, scored 31 runs. In fact, if you look at the final part of the season, Gavin Lux's 304 batting average was 12th in all of Major League Baseball. That was higher than Shohei Ohtani's 302 down the stretch. He had a 152 weighted runs created plus. That was 13th in baseball. He posted a negative WAR in the first half. After the break, he had a 2 FWAR and had a 1.5 FWAR for the season after starting with a negative WAR. So all this is to say that it'd be a tough choice to trade Gavin Lux if you think that he can replicate that kind of production moving forward. Now, is he going to be a 152 weighted runs created plus level hitter for an entire season? That's unrealistic. That number is flirting with MVP. But if you can get something that is closer to that than what we saw at the beginning of the season, and someone that plays above average second base, well, it'll accomplish 2 things. It'll, 1, give the Dodgers a player that is not making $20 million a year, right? You can't pay every guy at every position $20 million plus per season. It's not how this works. You can't have a multi-time all-star, a future Hall of Famer at every single position. At some point, to sustain a run, to keep this championship window as wide open as it is, you have to hit on homegrown talent. And Gavin Lux is certainly someone that has that potential to do that for the Dodgers. Now, that's one way of looking at it, right? He can have a role for this team. He can provide production that is inexpensive relative to the other big contracts they have. And then 2, you can look at, wait a second, are teams like the Yankees, like the Mariners, are teams out there looking at Gavin Lux like the Lux that we saw after the All-Star break? Because if you have teams talking themselves into the possibility of that version being the Gavin Lux that they're going to get, then the Dodgers could get value from him. The Dodgers could acquire talent that you could use at other positions, whether it be a quality reliever, whether that could be maybe another position player if you needed to, something like that, that could make it make sense. But the good thing is, if you're Gavin Lux, sure, you don't want to be included in trade rumors, but guess what? What do they always say? You're only popping if you have haters, right? You're only popping in baseball if teams want to trade for you. A big problem for Gavin Lux this offseason would be if no one wanted to trade for you. If no one wanted to trade for Gavin Lux this offseason, if he wasn't someone the Dodgers would be even considering moving, it would have indicated that he probably wouldn't have turned his season around in the second half like he did. That he didn't have what's going to go down as the game-tying sac fly there in the Game 5 comeback in the World Series, right? So he had his fingerprints on this World Series championship. So if I'm Gavin Lux, this tells me, hey, Jeff Passan's writing about me. John Morosi's tweeting about me. I've turned a corner. I have made strides in my career. So I think there's only a good thing. One thing I will say, the Mariners are intriguing to me. The Mariners are intriguing to me for a couple of different reasons. And one of them is, of course, you can never have enough starting pitching. Are they going to trade Luis Castillo in a deal for Gavin Lux? No, you need a lot more of that for Luis Castillo. But we also know at this point, what has this organization indicated this offseason? What's the one thing, what's the one position group that has been on their wish list that they have not crossed off yet? That is a high leverage super reliever. Yes, you brought back Blake Trinan, friend of the show, that is going to prove to be one of the more important relievers on this team. But even after you signed Blake Trinan, even after you brought him back, you still were interested in trading for Devin Williams. You've still been linked to Tanner Scott. Well, if Tanner Scott isn't going to go to the Dodgers, which there is mutual interest there, I'm not saying it won't happen. I still think it's definitely very possible. What about Andres Munoz of the Seattle Mariners? That is a guy who has lights out potential. You look at his baseball savant page, bright red in so many different categories. He's someone that's an all-star, 25 years old. Last season, posted a 2.12 ERA in 59 in the third innings, had 22 saves, ended with a 173 ERA plus, had an 11.7 strikeouts per 9. Andres Munoz is one of those guys that is in that category of, okay, he's an elite reliever. And if the Mariners are looking to move off some guys to change things up a bit, and they're actually the ones that are inquiring about Gavin Lux, who knows? Because you're not going to get the 1-for-1, right? It's here's a guy who's a centerpiece of a trade, but then you also include prospects. But you look at Andres Munoz, 98th percentile in fastball velocity, 98.1 miles per hour. Average exit velocity, 95th percentile. Expected ERA, expected batting average. All of this is above average. Only thing that he's below average at is walk rate and barrel percentage. And we know that his walk rate is still better than Tanner Scott's, and the Dodgers are interested in Tanner Scott. So I think that the Dodgers aren't afraid to bring in a high leverage reliever, even if a walk rate or something like that needs to be improved upon. I think they're looking for high level, high upside, high ceiling guys that can help them when it matters most. So that's kind of the one name I look at is, okay, if you were going to trade Gavin Lux, I hope it's not a Michael Busch situation where you trade Michael Busch for the Jackson Ferris types who has already made strides as organization. He's been great. I hope it's to address something that they're still looking to address, and that is a high leverage reliever. But yeah, I mean, Gavin Lux, this is someone that, this is someone who's put himself in a position to enter these conversations. And I consider it a champagne problem at this point because you have that kind of depth. And we're going to talk about Hyeseong Kim. We're going to talk about what this means because you look at this roster, guys. I don't know about you, but these aren't 53-man rosters, right? This is not a football-sized roster. It's not how it works in Major League Baseball, okay? This roster is going to get crowded very quickly after the additions that they've made this offseason. Right now, you look at this roster, I think Shohei Ohtani is a good chance he makes it. But you got Shohei, Betts, Freeman, Teoscar, Smith. That's 5. Muncy, Edman, Conforto, Barnes. That's 9. Rojas. That's 11. So you got 2 more spots. Chris Taylor, Gavin Lux, Andy Pajes, Hyeseong Kim, Kike Hernandez. So I still think the Dodgers need to add potential another right-handed bat to come off the bench. But Hyeseong Kim makes things kind of interesting, even if his role is to be a super utility man type of second baseman. Let's go down below in the comments section. What are your thoughts on these rumors about Gavin Lux being traded? Let me know down below. We got Dogwater, a $2.49 super chat. Could you see a trade for Robert and move Edman to shortstop? So I like that. I'm going to give that a nice little fire take right here because I like the take. Because I think if you did trade Gavin Lux, you would have to potentially add another position player too, right? I think I'd throw Andres Munoz as a reliever because that's what they're looking for. It's another high leverage guy. But yeah, Luis Robert Jr. in center field and putting Edman in a position that better serves what he's good at. If you go out there and you sign Tommy Edman, you do it knowing he's a super utility guy that can play multiple positions, right? He's a Swiss Army knife. If you just have one use out of that, it takes the value out of what a Swiss Army knife does, right? So to get $74 million worth of value from Tommy Edman, I certainly would put him in a position where he could play more shortstop, could play more second base, could play more outfield positions and not lock him into just one position. So yeah, I certainly would entertain the idea of doing just that. But I mean, look at the corners right now too. You got Mile Conforto is going to be your starting outfielder in left. Teoscar Hernández is going to be your starting outfielder in right. If it's Tommy Edman, a more bat-to-ball, defensive-minded center fielder, you're going to be okay. But I definitely think there's room for at least discussion and how that could improve the roster. We got Exodus as Lux was rehabbing major injury in the first half. He worked through it and produced. Yeah, I mean, that is the way you can frame Gavin Lux if you want to be Michelada half full, right? If you're on the optimistic side, that's how you're looking at this thing, because there's no doubt about it that let's say he came off the injury and he had the second half of the season, the first half, and then he tailed off. It'd be a different conversation, right? But the truth is, you got to give a guy an opportunity to get his legs underneath him and get his confidence back. I mean, that's what Gavin Lux has said, is as physical as it was also extremely mental to be able to round those bases and get that lower half of your body engaged with your upper half and get everything in sync. We had SoCal Fan 32 trading Lux would give him a fresh start and clear some space. Sign Kike and Roki. Michael B. Lux tore it up in the second half. Give you a nice little let's go Dodgers for that. Actually, I'll give you a no organ there. We got Neil before Zod 21. That's an intense username there. I really don't understand the hate that Lux gets. I don't understand the hate either. I mean, really, it should be an inspiring story. This guy has gone from top prospect that struggled, that got injured, got better, and really has helped this team. So, yeah, I don't understand the Lux hate either. I think that it's been really impressive to see what he's done and turning his career around. Jesse Torres, I really doubt the Dodgers are looking to trade Lux. KBO players historically have horrible stats their first year, plus Lux was solid in the second half. I know the Dodgers front office sees it. Okay, so let's transition there and talk some Hyeseong Kim. We were at Dodger Stadium when the news was announced that they had signed him, that he was just a few hours before he had to make his decision. The Angels, they had reportedly offered him around $28 million. He ends up signing with the Dodgers. He had spoken with Shohei Ohtani. And, hey, give Shohei Ohtani, Show GM, some credit for helping the Dodgers seal the deal on Kim. And the thing that you point out, though, is true, that you can't look at someone like Kim and say, oh, that's the answer. You can't say that, oh, that offense is going to translate in year one, because that's not realistic with players coming from the KBO. Just look at Hyeseong Kim. I mean, he was a 30 home run guy in the KBO, and that power did not translate. And I think for Hyeseong Kim, the best case scenario is that the contact does translate and that he can still get on base. He can still hit 280 to 300, something in that range. Last year, Kim hit 326, had a 383 on base, had a 458 slug, hit a career high 11 home runs with 30 stolen bases, and had a 118 weighted runs created plus. If you got that version of Hyeseong Kim, you'd be doing cartwheels down 1000 Vince Scully Avenue, right? You'd be ecstatic about that. That's not how this typically goes. KBO pitching isn't like big league pitching. The ball in the KBO is a little smaller. The drag and the carry for a ball is very different. But, I mean, having said that, he still has tools that can help this team. Last year, he stole 30 bases. 2021, he stole 46 bases. He's stolen at least 20 bases in each of his 7+ seasons in the KBO. And then on top of that, he brings you elite defense in the infield. 3 times he's won the Gold Glove. He can play shortstop. He can play second base. He can be a super utility man for this team, but that's not something that you plug in as an everyday starter. It's just unrealistic to think that. I think it's more of, okay, we get this guy on a contract that you jump at because of the value that you can get there. The Dodgers will owe him a guaranteed salary of $12.5 million for over 3 years, and includes a 2-year club option for an additional $9.5 million. The Dodgers also had to pay $2.5 million to the Kiwoom Heroes of the KBO. That's 20% of the guaranteed $12.5 million on that deal. So you're looking at a investment total of $15 million. So that's not okay. We're signing this guy to be a starter, but we are signing him to have a roster spot. So it does complicate things, but I don't think that Gavin Lux should necessarily be the odd man out. I think that if you're going to shave down your roster, I think you look at Chris Taylor. If you can get a team to take on some of that salary, right? He's not someone that's an asset that has any value right now to other teams. But I just don't think that it necessarily is Gavin Lux is gone because of this or Kike is gone because of this. I think Kike will be back. It'll just be a matter of getting to spring training to when you can sign guys, move them to the 60-day IL, and then Kike will find a spot on this roster. But here was Dodgers general manager Brandon Gomes talking about Hyeseong Kim and what he brings.
Yeah, we're really excited to add him into the mix. We're talking about, a double plus runner, a really good defender at multiple spots, and some real upside with the bat. So we're excited to get him working with our group and into the mix in spring training. Our scouts had obviously flagged him that he was potentially going to be posted this year. I think there was the dynamic athlete and explosiveness that he showed in that game against us really stood out. And then obviously you see the body of work and you're like, okay, that makes a lot of sense how those things match up. So, when you're able to add somebody with that type of athleticism and, that tool package, it's something that we're really excited about.
Here's from Michael B. says, Kim is going to see better fastballs and nastier movement in Major League Baseball. Is he going to adapt? Yeah, we can break him down as a player, everything he's done in the KBO. I've talked to insiders in Korea that do think that his swing and his bat path, that if he gets with the Dodgers, that hopefully you can see at the very least him hitting for average. The power, though, is unrealistic. Like I say, 11 home runs in the show is unrealistic when his career high is 11 in the KBO. So that's unrealistic. But yeah, that's the number one biggest question. He's averaged 7, 8, 9 home runs per season. So at the very worst, though, you have to look at it this way. You get a cheaper glove first, Gold Glove caliber at his best, fast, dynamic utility infielder. So that to me, in and of itself is good. Then you open up the Korean market too, right? Let's be honest too. That's definitely good for this team. The Dodgers are saying, hey, forget taking over a whole country, take over a whole content, right? That's really what it's about as well, as you're just kind of expanding and you're taking advantage of the fact that international players want to sign with this Dodgers organization. So that certainly is a major boost as well. But this guy's cool though. We were DMing with him a little bit. We're trying to get him on the show. Look out for that. We're still trying to get him on the show. But he's excited to be a Dodger, man. He's excited to be a Dodger, and I'm excited to see what he can do within this organization. But definitely came as a massive surprise. I don't think anyone saw that coming, right, Noel?
Man, that was I was here with Tony, and I had just posted a graphic that the Dodgers had reportedly made an offer to him. Immediately after I posted it, I was on X, and then I started seeing the news that they signed him. I was like, oh man. But I'm really excited. He's barely going to turn 26 years old this year. Obviously, the versatility is something the Dodgers really like. And, there's reports that Shohei did talk to him, meet him in Los Angeles, tell him that he liked his game and that he was hoping the negotiations were going well. He, of course, also played with Tommy Edman. So I'm sure if he talked to Edman, he probably told him, hey, they treat guys with our skill sets really well over here. And they take care of us. I think something that always comes to mind is that the Dodgers took care of Tommy Edman right away in this offseason. So I just think both those guys had nothing but glowingly things to say about the organization. And yeah, guys, look out. If we have him on the show, it's going to be a really good time. He's a good dude.
Great dude. And like I said, lots of upside. Someone who's a depth piece, has versatility. I like that picture of him and Tommy Edman. That's a fire picture.
Aged really well.
That's going to age well, man. It's something that the Dodgers are always going to do. They're always going to try to improve as a team. Hello Clips coming here with a hot take says, Hyeseong Kim, greater than sign, overrated Gavin Lux. Come on now. Come on. I'm going to have to give you come on. Let support Gavin Lux, okay? The good Lux charm. Pika Pete. Long as Kim hits to exploit his speed, he'll fit in. Yeah, that's the number one thing. That's the number one thing is doing that. He's a career 304 hitter. He's hit 37 home runs and stolen 211 bases in 953 games in the KBO. His speed alone by itself can have an impact on a game. Let's not forget, Major League Baseball has told us in the last couple of seasons they want to see more base running. They want to see people stealing bases. We got Chen Lu says, Dodgers sure should keep Lux. The Dodgers sure keep Lux. Trade to Seattle Mariners or New York Yankees. Miguel Rojas, May, Tony Gonsolini, and Chris Taylor. Got to work on the spelling on that one, but it's all good. Michael B. Lux made more contact and hit with more power towards the end of the season. Ellis Shiva Jones, Lux was a total stud from the All-Star break to the end of the season. Yeah, I mean, these things are all true. The question for the Dodgers has to be, though, is they've said that Mookie Betts is going to be shortstop. They've said that Gavin Lux is going to be at second base. If they're going to hold true to that, then yeah, you leave it at that. But if there's any doubt in their minds about Mookie Betts being able to handle shortstop for an entire season, then you have to look at second base because he's not going to go back to the outfield. So it's really dependent largely on how much better did Mookie Betts get at shortstop this offseason? How much more comfortable is he with the throws? Will the overall physical demands of being a shortstop, where you are the captain out there, you are the guardian of the infield, playing that shortstop spot is going to take its toll on you. Will that impact Mookie at the plate? Because I guarantee you, all you guys on the postgame show, even if Mookie Betts is getting it done at shortstop, if he's hitting like 240 and isn't hitting doubles and home runs, you're going to be like, D-Mac, why is Mookie at shortstop? Because it's hurting his ability to hit. It's hurting his production at the plate. I know you'll be telling me that if that's the case. So I think that's kind of the number one thing too, because like Noel just pointed out, this organization, they covet positional versatility. And why do they covet positional versatility? Because the more positions you play, the more options that they have. The Dodgers don't like it when one player can give them less options, right? And with Gavin Lux at second base, and there's nowhere else to put him, is he going to play third base? No. Shortstop? Clearly, they're not going to go that route again. The outfield, they've already tried that. So what we've learned with this organization is if you are going to have a player at one position that's not going to have a ton of versatility, what do you have to do? You've got to rake. You have to be special at the plate. Hey, they're fine having Teoscar Hernández play average to below average-ish defense at a corner outfield spot. Why? Because he rakes against lefties. Because he's clutch. Because he can hit at an all-star level and hit 30-plus home runs. He is Teoscar Hernández, right? Get those sunflower seeds ready, right? Michael Conforto, 20 home runs. Something in that range. Shohei Ohtani, 50-plus home run MVP. Yeah, you can have that DH spot, especially because you can pitch too. Freddie Freeman, MVP-level player. Yeah, you can hold down first base, right? You got to be extra special with the stick for this organization to say, okay, you can just play one position. That's it. You're fine there. So he has to be special-ish or at least above average offensively to make it make sense for him to be at second base full-time and potentially lose some quality at shortstop if Mookie's playing that position as well. But Maldonado Archives, I'm glad we got this Kim. Okay, you like him better than the Hyeseong Kim variety. Okay, let's go Dodgers. Studio DSR, sad to see Dodgers fans hate on one of our own. If he's traded, but put some respect on his name. Give you a let's go. I like that's a fire take. Fire take. Raleigh Alvarez, first things first, don't like Gavin sucks. Come on now, give me a bruh. Give me a bruh on that. But if they were trading Lux, it should have been for Devin Williams. No Gavin Lux slander on the show, please. No, come on now. What has he done? I mean, geez. Jorge Galeno, Lux will be an all-star in 2026. The only way the Dodgers should trade Lux is if he's used with a package to upgrade a position. That's really what we said earlier in the show. Jorge Galeno. Here, Antonio, how do you say that one?
Galeno.
Sí. Galeno.
Galeno.
Jorge Galeno. I still said it bad. Lux will be great. We got to play that one where I'm translated. The Blake Trinan.
Guys, if you guys we'll put in the chat one of these days, but AI is getting crazy these days. So we posted a clip of Doug's interview with Blake Trinan, and someone actually tagged a Twitter bot, and the Twitter bot was able to have Doug and Blake Trinan speak Spanish to each other the entire 1 minute and 30 clip. It was crazy.
I'm telling you that I want to take that clip back to my Spanish teacher and be like, hey, can I get my grade changed to an A?
What'd you get in Spanish back in the day, Doug?
I was like a BB plus.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, look out for AI, guys.
Look at the A, though.
It's getting crazy.
See, we got John Cozy says his glove wasn't the problem. It was his throws. He was moved to second base the following season where his sidearm throwing was better fit. He's won the last 2 KBO second base defense awards. Talking about Kim. Awesome. Yeah, we're going to have Daniel Kim, ESPN KBO expert, on the show tomorrow. I'm going to actually interview tonight, so we'll kind of play the clip. But he's got some more to say on him that you want to hear. But let's switch gears to Teoscar Hernández. He didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about Teoscar being back. It was a months-long, almost felt like a mini saga, right? I mean, he made it very clear he wanted to be back with the Dodgers. He almost signed with them very quickly in the offseason. They did not get past the finish line. They were at the 2-yard line, didn't punch in the end zone. And then it dragged on for a couple months. Ultimately, he gets the deal done. He's back in LA. It's all smiles for Teoscar Hernández in Dodger blue. And I asked him about if there was any doubts he was ever going to re-sign here, because he did say that he did receive multiple offers from other teams, and he said not really. So that tells me that he didn't have that much to worry about this entire time. So here was Teoscar Hernández talking about his process of re-signing with the Dodgers.
And you made it very clear you wanted to re-sign here, and you said in a recent interview that you received offers from other teams. At any point, was there ever a doubt that you were going to re-sign here, or at the end of the day, did you ultimately think you'd be back?
Not really. Like I said, I had my mind clear that I wanted to come back and that I was going to do anything in my power to make it work and be back with the Dodgers. For me, money wasn't an issue. I could wait. I could wait more offers from other teams, but I think the money, it wasn't going to be the difference. I couldn't get 5 or 6 more mil from other teams, and if you put me in a place that I have to decide, I would have decided to come back. Just because the way this organization is, the way this organization treat a family and the players, and that for me is more important than anything.
So he's not the first guy to say that. I mean, Blake Trinan told us that too, that the way that the Dodgers treat your family, the way that they take care of you outside of the lines is a factor as well. So it's good to hear him say that. And I talked to him a little bit after too. And look, he definitely got offers from other teams, definitely got nice offers from other teams, and still said, I want to be back in LA. I want to be with this group. I mean, we even mentioned that our fans that had voted on a poll about Juan Soto versus Teoscar Hernández, we mentioned to him that 85% of Dodgers fans, the vast majority of Dodgers fans, wanted Teoscar Hernández over Juan Soto. And of course, you get that big Teoscar smile on his face, and that means something. I mean, it really does. I mean, you're talking about a future Hall of Fame player in Juan Soto, and the vast majority of Dodgers fans wanted Teo over Soto. And I asked him about the fan impact and how impactful it was to see the overwhelming amount of support, not just after the season, but during the season, and if that factored into his decision to re-sign with LA.
Teoscar, congratulations on the new deal. You mentioned throughout the season how big it was to have the support from Dodgers fans, and you had that emotional moment at the parade. How big was that for you to be embraced by Dodgers fans, and did that at all factor in your decision to re-sign here?
Huge. I always take that in mind. I appreciate since the first day that I got here, and Dodgers fans, they were in there, they were cheering for me. They were giving me the support that I need to have the season that I have last year, not only for me, but for the whole team. And when you have that support, you just, as a player, you think you have to give 110% every day for this fan base so they can get the max out of every single game.
So there you go. I mean, the support that you guys gave him throughout the year drove him to having the year that he did have. All-star season, 30-plus home runs, was clutch all year, played all year, and he got himself the contract that he was happy with. So I know you guys were happy. I know that Dodgers Nation was thrilled. And look, the truth of the matter is as good as this offseason has been, it's also been an offseason about running it back, right? Yes, you did go out there and get Blake Snell. And yes, you did make some acquisitions that go outside of just retaining players. Michael Conforto, Kim. But you also brought back dudes that help you get there too. You re-signed Blake Trinan. You brought back Teoscar Hernández. So clearly, this organization feels strongly that this is the group that is going to allow them to win multiple championships. Because they could have easily said, you know what? We won a championship with this group. Most organizations, I'm going to tell you, most organizations out there that won a championship would have said, you know what? What is our fan base going to say, right? I mean, how many teams go back-to-back? Basically none. We can do whatever we want. Not this fan base. This organization heard this fan base, and they made the right decision because these are guys that can help this team win. But, Noel, as far as, all your time doing this, I mean, what was the reaction from Teoscar? I mean, it was probably one of the most explosive ones that we've seen as far as a player coming back. I think it's more of those things, too, where they were happy that it happened, but they would have been, furious if it didn't.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember I was driving home, and then I started getting a bunch of text messages, and people were telling me that he posted on his Instagram story. And that Instagram story alone, I think it made so many people thrilled about the idea that finally a deal was going to get done. And so, I mean, once it passed Christmas, I think people were starting to get nervous. They're like, man, so much time has passed. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. And then finally, when the news came out that not only did he re-sign, but it was a 3-year deal, that, there were other offers on the table, but he wanted to prioritize this team. It was an amazing reaction. And then also the press conference where he said he left around $5 to $6 million on the table, people were even more happy. They were saying, why was I even nervous in the first place about him not coming back? But yeah, this dude, he connected with the fan base. He's up there with some of the biggest players on the Dodgers that have connected with everybody. So it's definitely a beauty for him to be back.
Yeah, that's what's cool about being on the Dodgers too, is because you can be Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman, all-star future Hall of Famers, but then you can also be like the Kikes and the Teoscars where, yeah, you might sprinkle an all-star season there every once in a while, but you'll get as much love from the fan base as the future Hall of Famers superstars. That's what's cool about this fan base is they kind of don't just say, oh, we're just going to love the guys who are the superstar players. But no, they got to get to know these guys, they support these guys. We got some super chats down below. Francisco Diaz, a $4.99 super chat. D-Mac, what would hurt more? Lux being traded away or having to change your bruh screen if a Lux trade happens?
Bruh.
Oh my, you know what? For that reason alone, never trade Lux. So this bruh screen, come on now.
Bruh.
They actually asked about it on another show, right?
Almost changed to Miguel Vargas.
We were close to, we weren't going to change it permanently, but Miguel Vargas did give us some good bruh.
It was going to be a special one.
A little special edition one. Look, we'll find another. Who's the next guy that gave us a bruh on this team?
That will, or that we predict will give us a bruh?
Just like facial expressions. Kike certainly
Kike has good
yeah.
ones. I'm trying to think.
Kike has a lot of bruh moments in general.
I kind of wanted a younger, like Lux. Lux is funny.
Lux is funny. He's perfect, and he kind of leans into it.
Yeah,
I could see Bruiser Gratterall too.
Bruiser's got a fun personality.
Vesia has the fiery personality.
Yeah, we got to get Vesia. We got to get some. We should do Vesia like the fire take.
His head's got to blow
fire
up.
Take. Yeah. No, he got married, by the way. Congratulations
congrats to
Alex Vesia. Give you a let's go Dodgers. What's up?
Blake Snell, he got a.
Blake Snell did.
Proposed.
He did. I saw he's wearing that Louis Vuitton shirt, and I think he posted he put on a story. He can't wait, so you could tell he's excited to be in Dodger blue. I think he's engaged to Zach Levine's younger sister.
I
right?
think that's why they're always hanging out.
Yeah,
that's why they're always hanging out. Shout out Zach.
There we go. We got Christopher Navarro with $5 super chat. Will Smith with the original bruh. Miguel Vargas gone, and if bruh Lux is traded, who would be the new bruh? Yeah, we just talked about that. Yeah, I mean, we'll look. Everything happens organically on this show. We got some new segments planned for you this season. So, we'll look. That's the thing about this team, this organization is, there's never a shortage of storylines, of topics, of clips. It feels like once it gets really quiet, all of a sudden things happen. I mean, Friday the Dodgers were flying with moves and signings and rumors and things like that. So there's always stuff to talk about. We got Teo A.M. Sanchez. This is on more stuff on Teo. More of these press room questions in 2025 Dodgers Nation. Let's go. Hey, man, I asked as much as they let me. Birasama, the fact that, the funny thing is I sat in the front row and they're like, I sat in the front of the press thing and they come to me like, your last name Hernandez? Are you related to Teoscar's family? And I'm like, I was like, yeah, I mean, we're not like,
Claro que sí.
I said I'm a fanatico.
Like 15 times removed.
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
I had to move the row back because that first row was for Teoscar's family. I'm like the kid in class. I always like to sit in the front row. You know the reason?
Yes. Wait, quick question. So, do you like Teo's haircut? He cut his hair real short.
I do like it.
Chop the mohawk.
Like, I think it looks clean. I think I like the picture that I think John Suh took where he's in front of the Dodger Stadium construction.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
With the suit on? Yeah.
With the suit on. The blue suit's a good look on him. He got the red bottom Christian Louboutins. The thing about him, man, like you can get like, you can have like the coolest clothes. You can have like, the nicest haircut and the beard. But dude, like what you can't buy is his smile. I'm telling you, like you can be like, his smile's like put on like a nice warm blanket.
The greatest,
you know what I mean?
The greatest veneers couldn't match Teo's.
There you go. That's it. Yeah. No, but I mean,
or actually everybody that gets veneers probably shows a picture of Teo and said,
give me the Teo, right? Yeah, no, for sure. We got Birasam says the fact that Teo took less to be a Dodger again, we owe this man a standing ovation. Yeah. No, I mean, look, he got taken care of for sure. And it's things, contract negotiations are more public than they have been in the past, especially with these things. But we're going to move the Roki stuff to tomorrow because there's a lot to unpack with Roki. And this has been Roki Nation for the last couple of weeks. So we'll spend a lot of time tomorrow talking about the developments with him. Next, I want to switch gears to the seventh inning stretch where we answer all of your questions about your boys in blue.
The seventh inning stretch.
Terry Hesticles, first of all, on your name. D-Mac is looking slimmer. Have you not been eating your tortas? Really? It's why I don't know, man. I got to start lifting it. You guys know I have.
Pushing 2 plates.
That was from like 2021, bro. I did post on my story. My brother-in-law posted a picture of me benching like 235, just repping it out. And I shared it because I wanted people to think that was like recently, but it was really years ago. So that really, I'm not supposed. I'm still, with my bag, I'm not supposed to lift that much, but pretty soon I'll be able to. We'll get in there. I know. We'll start getting then that spring training for sure. Leonardo Blanco, hey D-Mac, do you think the possibility of Arenado is gone even if we traded Lux and CT3? Look, I think that it's gone quiet with Arenado. I never thought that it was something that necessarily was a better than 50% chance of happening. But like MLB.com's John Dent said on the show, he's going to want to hear no from the Dodgers. So I do think that it'd be a shock if they traded Max Muncy, just because I still think his contract is valuable under $15 million. I mean, you're talking about a guy who give you 30 home runs and he's played average defense at third in the past year. So I would be surprised, but like I said, we have to see either he's for sure going to be back on the Cardinals or he's going to get traded to another team, and what other moves the Dodgers are going to make this season, how they align with the possibility of that. JM, yo, D-Mac, why is Kershaw taking so long to come back from a toe injury? Well, he had the toe, he had the knee. I think with Kersh, it's the same thing as Kike Hernandez. With Kike, you're waiting to get to February. You're waiting to get to spring training so you can place guys on that 60-day IL, and that's going to be the case with Clayton Kershaw as well. I think you're going to kind of wait till that. We got Katarina, Tanner Scott. Why quibble over a few $1 million, Dodgers? If another National League team gets him, it'll come back to bite, especially in the postseason. Come on, get it done. Give me a let's go Dodgers for that, Katarina. Yeah, I mean, it's the whole it's not my money thing, right? And the truth is, though, that if he's looking for $80 million, that's a lot. I mean, that's getting closer and closer to Edwin Diaz and Josh Hader territory, where you're over $100 million for a reliever. But the fact is, if you do get Roki Sasaki, you're basically getting a $300+ million pitcher for less than $15 million, right? So you can find the value there. You got all the deferrals with Shohei Ohtani's contract. They could certainly afford it. There's no doubt about that. But they have not swung a big trade. Maybe the one trade they use this offseason is to address that, because you're not really going to go that much crazier on the rotation side. You're probably not going to go that much crazier on the position player side. There's a chance, but it's not a guarantee. We know the one thing they haven't picked up that they've already made it clear they want is a high leverage reliever. So either you do get Tanner Scott or you trade some chips to get someone that can go out there and help you. But as far as Scott goes, you're right. I mean, it'd be great to have him going up against the Mets and facing off against Juan Soto, and Shohei not having to face him in and of itself would definitely be a boost. We got the sports cards, report cards, $199. The new bruh face should be a Manny Machado face. Kind of like that, but I don't know. I don't want to see Manny Machado's face on the show like every day. You know what I mean? Like Mike Saldana, well, look, let's take it day by day, guys. You guys are trying to trade Lux already. It's not materializing, at least imminently at the moment. Mike Saldana, any truth to moving Ohtani to left field and signing JD Arenado for DH? Right now with Shohei Ohtani, Dave Roberts already made it pretty clear that they're not going to have him on the mound until May. And yeah, we can get into some things about his roster situation and how you have to designate him as a pitcher that hits, and basically his impact on the 26-man roster. But the truth is, he's not going to be in left field. He's not going to be a left fielder. That is a situation that they would probably entertain after they try him again as a starter, after they potentially tried him as a reliever. But I have all the confidence, though. It's Shohei Ohtani. He's coming back, and he is going to establish himself once again as one of the best pitchers in baseball. That's what makes this so exciting. I mean, if you're the Dodgers, you come off winning a World Series against the New York Yankees of all teams, and what do you have to look forward to in 2025? The unicorn. A guy that's pitching and hitting at an MVP and Cy Young level. So, yeah, that's going to be the move, not left field. Alicia, Kike Hernandez as...
I'm testing your Spanish here, Doug.
Super talentoso, por favor, que vuelva.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so he's very talented.
Hope he returns.
And you hope he returns. Yeah.
So that's your Spanish.
There we go. Okay, do your version of that then.
Oh, dang. Kike Hernández es súper talentoso. Por favor, que vuelva.
Es súper talentoso. Por favor, que vuelva.
Eso, muy bueno. Sí. Doug Hernández.
There we go. I'm going to get the accent from the McKain, the A in McKain. I'm going to put the accent on the top of the A from McKain. Yeah. McKain. Yeah, that's how I'm going to rock with it. Carmen Alexander, no Manny ears, LOL. Come on now. That's not cool. Forward Cedar 777 says, what do you think of bringing back Justin Turner as a utility DH for 1 year? Then JT retires after the 2025 season. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things, I've talked about it, not want to get back with your ex, kind of. I think the thing with Justin is he has such a prominent voice in the clubhouse, and not saying that's bad or anything, because clearly it led to a lot of success with this team. But this team kind of knows what it is as far as its clubhouse goes, as far as kind of this version of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So I personally would prefer to remember Justin Turner and his time with the Dodgers, right, where he was still an impactful player, the moments, walk-off home run off John Lackey, of course, that's always going to be ingrained in my mind forever. Well, one question we do want to find out, though, that I was asked the last show was about Matt Kemp, and if Matt Kemp gets a ring, because he did sign that one-day contract.
Yeah, that's true. That's right.
We're gonna have to find out about that.
Yeah, no, we do. We're gonna have to talk to some people. May get them on.
I'm gonna talk to some people. Zarate Kid 4. Is it too early to sign Shohei's kid? Definitely not. Definitely not. He's gonna be successful. He's gonna be a baller, whatever he does. Martin Troop. That didn't sound like a B plus. D-Mac. What do you mean? Oh, okay. I get it. It was a long time ago. I got to brush up. I feel you. No, BC Shohei's kid. I'll print it out. Shohei's kid will probably not be any good, just like MJ's. No way. Shohei's kid's going to be a future star. It's going to be great. Martin Troop, how many years do the Dodgers extend Dave Roberts? It's a great question, Martin Troop, and that's something we're going to find out this year. And I think it comes down to Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts has to want to be the manager of this team until anything changes. I personally see him being the Dodgers skipper at least the next 9 years, at least through the Shohei Ohtani era. I really do. I mean, Dave Roberts lives, eats, breathes baseball, and he's a World Series winning manager. He's 52 years old. He turns 53 in May. So, look, I could see it for sure. I could definitely see him being a manager at the very least for the next decade. What do you think, though, Antonio?
What was that?
How much longer do you think Dave Roberts will be the manager? Think he'll be a lifer? Do you think he'll go?
Oh yeah, dude. Until Justin Turner wants to take the job, as long as he wants. So I'd probably see like another at least 5 years.
Yeah, I just think that it's kind of like Tommy Lasorda. He retired at 68.
Dude,
he was 68. So even if Doc did another 10 years, he'd be younger than that. But there's no reason to think that he can't continue this career. And they got a well-oiled machine, right?
Yeah.
So I expect it. Some more here, and then we're going to head out. We got Martin Troop. We got Pika Peak. Teo knows the full value of being in LA. Yeah, that's a comment of the show. Give you a nice little comment of the show. Being in LA is great.
You win. Perfect.
Leonardo Blanco. Hey, D-Mac, there is no running it back without Teo. Your thoughts? Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think that with what he provided throughout the season on and off the field in the clubhouse kind of speaks for itself. And I just don't think that if you were the Dodgers, you want to have any regret. And that's, I think, the word that would come into play if they didn't re-sign him, because there's no guarantees that you're going to get a guy that can perform in those situations. He's built for that. He's postseason certified. He checked off too many boxes. Kind of now you can look back and you're like, okay, it was obvious that he was going to be back, right? But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. We are back in the studio, guys. We are on a little break for a couple weeks, so we are back in the studio Monday through Friday. Got more shows coming. Got a little exciting project that we'll talk to you guys about this week. We got some big interviews coming up. Anthony Bonda is going to be on the show at some point. We got Dalton Rushing, Dodgers #1 prospect. Lots of surprises in store for you guys this season at Dodgers Nation all year, 24/7, 365. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. You can follow Antonio Curiel and Noel Sanchez. Noise by Noel. Go follow them as well. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Hit that like button. And remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue,